Appa, why don't you understand me? She said with annoyance. Why, daughter, just look at yourself. What's your condition right now? And you still want to go in that house? He said angrily with concern. But Appa, Jungkook saved me. He's the one who is by my side. Mr. Kim rolled his eyes. Why, if you don't want to think about yourself, think about your baby once. You had almost risked it. He stopped as he realized and Ryan looked down and tears welled down from her eyes. I'm scared. What if he never remember me again? What if someone snatched him from me? Her father sighed. If his love is true, then no one can snatch him from you. Let him prove his love, he calmly said. Why he needs to prove his love when I know how much he loves me? When it was my time to be with him, you are not letting me to go to him, she said with heavy tone. It's his baby too. It's our baby, Appa. Me and Jungkook. He doesn't even know it about it. But still, he didn't fail to protect us, she said with so much emotion. It's okay, I understand your concern too, but she stopped as she looked down. I'm going in my room. She got up as her father tried to help her, but she moves away a little. It's okay, I'm alright, she said as she tried to walk and pressed her lips together due to the strain in her legs. Your daughter is too stubborn, see? He said angrily with concern, and your mother looked at you with concern. She walked a little but displeased, and her hands held someone's wrist. She didn't notice, and he lifted her in his arms, making her surprised as she finally looked at the person and her eyes softened looking at him. Jungkook. She hugged him all of a sudden, and he just closed his eyes when she realized she broke the hug. Looking away, and she said, sorry, while he just stared her. What are you doing here? She said uncomfortably, shifting while he just observed her actions. Why you don't listen to your parents? Being stubborn? He firmly said. She looked up with some silence. You were worried for your baby when you were in pain, then how they will not for there? He said, and Mrs. Kim looked at him. Put me down. And his gaze shifted to your father. Appa? Mr. Kim looked at him, surprised and mine as well. Can I? He asked softly, and her father nodded slowly, and he nods a little and gesture. Jungkook walked to upstairs, holding you in his arms, and you just watched him, feeling that you were back in time, how you both used to be. You felt your old Jungkook is back. Your mind is processing everything, why he's behaving like this, but you didn't dare to ask, feeling it's a dream and not to wake up because this is the best feeling in the world for you. We're just you and him and his love, which is stronger than yours. Jungkook made you lay on the bed as you just watched him as he's fixing pillows behind, and you are just watching his face closely after so long, making you fall harder. Jungkook made you comfortable and his eyes met yours, locked into soft eye contact. You closed your eyes when he leaned in and pressed his lips on your forehead, making your stomach to twitch as he looked back at you and smiled softly. Why? He whispered and she opened her eyes to meet his. He removed her hair, which is covering his view, as he slowly cupped her face and kissed her cheeks. I'm sorry, he whispered and you took a deep breath. Why are you? She asked and Jungkook hugged her, making her surprised. I'm sorry, my love. I'm so sorry. Her eyes widened in surprise. Jungkook broke the hug as he looked at her with so much emotion, and she is too shocked to speak anything. I don't know. I just don't know, but I knew you were something to me always. I didn't know we are tied in such a strong and beautiful relationship. He whispered and Mine's heart raced faster. Jungkook. I didn't know, nor I have ever imagined. We are tied together in a relationship of a husband and wife. Tears started to well up in her eyes. You know you still choose to me lie. How I made you feel. I must hurted you so bad, right? He said with so much emotion and her tears rolled down from her cheeks. She looked down because she couldn't deny the fact that she was hurt and felt alone without him. Because he's her strength and Jungkook understood her silence. I'm sorry, my love, he said, and Ryan shook her head. It's not your fault, don't be, she said, and Jungkook just stared at her face. You knew in that house no one likes you. You still choose to stay just because of me. Ryan closed her eyes. Because I knew you will be there for me. Because you promised me you didn't prove me wrong, she said with a smile and pain. Jungkook stared at her. You know, I'm upset with you for hiding the truth, he said, and she kissed his cheeks. You're my top priority. I don't want to hurt you and your health to get worse, she said. That's why you choose to hurt yourself, he blurted out, and you just stared at him. I still don't have any memory of us, how we met, how we fall in love, how I proposed to you, how we got married. And it hurts me the most. She looked at him with concern. Jungkook, you got to know the truth, she asked in concern. It doesn't matter. All what matters is why I'm late. She just stared him in concern. If you don't have any memory of us, how can you believe it? He grinned painfully. If it was a lie, I would have believed blindly. Such a beautiful and dreamy lie it must be. But lucky me, it's not. He chuckled a little. I was jealous of your husband. It's funny, I'm jealous of myself. He said, grinning, and you closed your eyes, smiling. My god, everything can change, but a man's habit cannot. What a big flirt you are, she said, grinning, and Jungkook gazed down intense. What should I do? How angelic you are, that I cannot stop myself from getting whipped for you, he said in a husking voice, and your smile faded slowly, staring his intense gaze. How can be your impact so strong on me, Ryan, that you made me fall in love with you again? Did you do spell on me? You hit his chest playfully and he chuckled. I would love to be under your spell, that I fall for you again and again. It's just you, he whispered, looking her intensely, making her nervous. Jungkook, don't look at me like that. I know where it will be leading you, she nervously said, and he smiled. You know? She nodded. Me as well. He raised brows while grinning. My wife missed me a lot, he said mischievously while you looked down blushing. No, it's not. I have control on myself. I can control myself for 9 months for sure. Not sure about you. Your eyes widened and he gave you a nod in assurance. His gaze shifts to us. Jungkook extended his hand slowly with nervous and but Ryan held his hand before putting on her stomach, and he looked her with tears, and she chuckled a bit. We are going to be parents, she said, smiling with tears. Jungkook's smile is wide and tears in his eyes as he looked at her. My baby, he whispered, and tears flowed down. She waited for this moment for so long. And he kissed her belly softly, making her feel overwhelmed. And he looked at her that she is crying, and Jungkook gestured her when she hugged her, breaking into tears. And he kissed her back. I was so scared that I might not able to share this news with you. What if we never be like before? I was so scared, Jungkook, she said, hugging him tightly, and Jungkook grew. I'm not complaining you. It's just it hurted me so bad. It was so hard. I didn't want to lose you. She cried and he closed his eyes, letting her pain out. I love you, Jung. I really do. I love you too, my lifeline. I'm never leaving you this soon. Not in this life, but in every life. He broke the hug and wiped her tears. I will stick to you, even if you don't want. I won't. Understand? She snapped, wiping her tears. I want you to stick to me always, she said, sniffing, and he chuckled and kissed her forehead. Sure, that's my wife orders. How can I disobey? He said, chuckling a little, and she hugged him again. I missed you. He kissed the side of her head. Vine is laying down while her head is in his lap as he adored her, while smiling warmly. and he's kissing her head softly. May she get sleep, but she didn't. She's too happy as she continuously plays with his fingers and sometimes with his cheeks, everything she finds adorable about him. And he just admired her. Fine, and she hummed. Hmm. Why not sleeping? He asked softly and she glanced at him. She was playing with his shirt button. I'm not sleepy at all, she replied, pouting, and he chuckled. You're just a baby. How come you're going to take care of our baby? She gave him a look. Mature enough. Of course I love my baby, she said, gazing her belly. She sits as she just stared him, squinting close. You okay, right? Where have been disappeared? She asked, and he smiled. Nowhere, he replied, smiling. Mine checked her forehead, then his, and she looked at him, widening his eyes a little. Your temperature is higher than mine, cool, she said with I'm okay now. I took medicine. My head hurts a bit, he, he said, assuring her. Her expression transformed concerning once. She massaged her head and she stopped her. I'm okay, love, he just said. Just take care of your health, he said with I'm not convinced, she said, and he sighed as he pulled her on his lap and rested on her shoulder. I'm okay now, he said softly. Don't neglect your health. You know you are important to me. And doctor told us it will be dangerous. He put fingers on in his lip. Shh, you talk a lot, don't you? How you manage to behave like a stranger to me? Her face turned pale as she noticed. Stupid, you could have told me that I am your husband. When I asked you many times, I might not be needed to be upset for no reason. She lifted her head. You still didn't tell me who told you. Jungkook, Jungkook sighed. Your dad. I am grateful to him. Thankfully, he's the only one with brain, and everyone else brainless. She raised one brow. Did you just call me brainless? He regretted her words immediately. Excluding you, love. She used squint brows, staring him briefly. When you pushed him a little and got up from his lap, then from bed. And he looked at you surprised as you gently put your foot on the floor, looking at him again. You said all, and I'm also involved in hiding our marriage. And he shook his head. No, Ryan. She tried to walk, but he held her wrist. I didn't. I called Taehyung Hyuk that he hid from me. Such a jerky brother he said, and you tilted your head. He's not. He's the one who cared for you the most. Even when you were not with me, he was with me. He supported me a lot. He got up as he smiled. I'm thankful to him if he taken care of my wife in my absence. He said, cupping your face, and mine looked at him sincerely. I am too. He's the one who was giving me strength, and my baby helped to get the strength that I have to be strong. He looked at your stomach. He knelt down as his hands on your waist and kissed your stomach. Thank you, my baby. Thank you for taking care of Omar being her strength, he said softly in his smile. Jungkook looked up as he asked in gesture, and she nodded. Jungkook lifts her top a little before touching her belly, and her body got goosebumps as he kissed softly. Baby and baby's Oma is thank you to Appa for saving us. His hand stops a little as he remembers something. He smiled as he packed and covers her stomach and looked at her. You both are my responsibility, and you don't have to say thank you to me, he said, and she smiled. Still, he sighed as he noticed swelling in her ankle. There is swelling in your ankle. Were you walking, Ryan? He said, checking, and she hissed as he looks up. Sorry. He got up before lifting her up in his arms as he made her sit on the bed. Don't move from bed, he commanded, and she smiled in relief. And it never felt like that he forgot her, because she could see him the same concern, the same love. I'll see her, he murmured, and Ryan looked at her. You were right when you told me Zara is a bit obsessed. I think she's kinda wild. She said in joking form and he glared at her. It's not a joke, Ryan, he said in one side. I know it's not. I'm really mad at her till now because if she tried to harm me, I would have forgive. But my baby, Jungkook looked up. For me, both things are not forgivable. She just Ryan tapped his shoulder. After killing her, you will leave us alone then? He said. Let's not talk about it. But I want to talk about it. I just want to confront her. You know what I think now? That car accident is not an accident. Jungkook looked at you sincerely. Don't involve yourself in these things. I'll say that. He said with sincerity. You slapped her? She asked and he redheaded and nodded. I didn't want it to. But what she did made my blood boil. I saw her doing that. And when you were crying in pain, right, I can never raise hand on a woman. But what she did made my blood boil, and it's really unacceptable, he said, feeling low. Wine cupped his face, making him look at him as she pecked his forehead, and he just watched her when she pecked his lips, making him blush and smile. You are a gentleman, I know. You don't need to explain. He smiled and kissed her palm. You're a gentleman, she chuckled. Yes, my man. He widened his eyes as she raised brows. I feel like this happened before. She smiled. It did. I always call you my man. He blushed, making her giggle. This Jungkook is new. Mine was bold and wild, and this one is cute, and he blushes. And he gave her a look. Don't call me cute. I'm a grown-up man. She chuckled. Cutie. She giggled, and he pulled her face closer to his as her smile faded slowly. I'm still bold and more wild. It's just I can't show you. She smiled, teasing. Yeah, you have to wait for at least 9 months, she said, teasing him, and he just stared at her. Jacob pressed his lips on hers as he kissed her softly, making her close her eyes, and she kissed him back softly, pulling him back, and they pulled back as both of their faces turned. I'm not desperate, okay? He said, and she smiled, but I am. He widened his eyes at her bold eyes. Ryan, she said, pressing her lips on her father, corrected his thought. She quickly moved back. Oh, Papa, she said, feeling embarrassed as he got up. Her parents exchanged glances and Ryan looked down in embarrassment as her face turned red in embarrassment and Jungkook smiled, internally looking at her. You should have locked the door at least, she said, and Ryan opened her mouth to say something. Sorry, Umay, I forgot to lock it. How she will? Her ankle has sprained, right? She nodded. It's okay, son. We should have knocked. Jungkook smiled. It's okay. We are not doing anything. Ryan covered her face. There is some parcel. I thought you ordered it as it's on your name, son. She said, extending some box and bags. And the flower bouquet, and Jungkook smiled, nodded. Yeah, I ordered them. He said, taking the flower bouquet. Jungkook extended to Ryan, and Ryan smiled and felt shy in front of her parents. For you, he said, and her dad looked away as Ryan glanced at him. Ryan took it slowly as she smiled. Thank you, she said, smiling, and she sniffed them, but she felt a sudden nausea. She quickly covered her mouth and got up, making herself stumble as Jungkook held in concern. Are you okay? He asked as her parents looked at her in concern. But before she could say anything, she puked out on Jungkook's hands as he's holding her, and her father moved but stopped looking at Jungkook. He's holding her securely, and she continues while Jungkook rubbed her back. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, he said, kissing her back, while her mother quickly brought water as her father looked at her in concern. And Wine pleaded, I'm sorry, Wine said somehow as her mother quickly brought her water and cloths and extended to Jungkook as Jungkook cleaned her face and made drink water. I'm sorry, it's okay, love. You don't have to be sorry. Just relax, he said calmingly. What happened to her, Uma? Suddenly, is she okay? He asked worriedly. That's completely fine. It happens in pregnancy, she said, assuring him. Son, you can wash up. I'll take care of her. Jungkook is not ready to leave her. We are here. You can clean up. His father spoke as Jungkook looked at him, and he gestures him. Jungkook is kissing her hand as she is sleeping in his arms as he took her phone slowly not to disturb her sleep. A smile appears on his face when he saw their picture on her wallpaper. He tried to unlock it but it didn't, and he looked at her sleeping figure. Jungkook tried her name as password but still didn't unlock, and he sighed. But something caught his mind as he tried with nervousness, and surprisingly it's unlocked, and he smiled widely with tears. I love you too, my woman, he murmured. Jungkook scrolled through her gallery and her gallery full of their picture, only which made him giggle. Jungkook kissed her forehead softly and he sent all their photos to his number as he opened the chat, which is pinned and named as to Jungkook. Jungkook wiped his tears as he is feeling his throat heavy and he looked at her. You have been through a lot, he mumbled, pulling her closer as she snuggled him like a baby. And he chuckled slightly. I know we were beautiful, but I make sure to make us more beautiful with lots of new memories. I will take care of my cute little family, me and my two babies. He pecked her cheek softly. Thank God I was your husband. I must be fit for you before as well, but I didn't take time to marry you. Let me love you more now. Let me heal you the way you healed me. Let me take your all pain. I'll pay for every tear and make them pay. He whispered in very low voice. Jungkook smiled, looking at her sleeping figure as he adored her. The way she was sleeping, it feels like she's in deep sleep. And he looked at the breakfast he prepared for her and placed on the side table. He opened the curtains and Vine squeezed her eyes as sunlight hit her face, and covered her eyes with her hands. And Jungkook chuckled slightly as he sighed. Sleeping beauty, he mumbled. He walked to bed as he said before leaning and placing a soft kiss on her cheeks, and she moved in sleep. Fine, get up, hon, he said softly, caressing her head. Fine slowly opened her eyes and looked at him sleepy. Good morning, she said in sleepy voice, and he smiled. Good morning, love, he said, caressing her head gently, and she again closed her eyes. And Jungkook sighed. Fine. Hmm. In sleepy voice, and Jungkook chuckled softly. Jungkook pulled her softly in his arms as he hugged him like a koala while sleeping, not yet letting him move, and Jungkook sighed. Breakfast is getting cold. She looked at him with half open eyes. Can I eat your breakfast? He widened his eyes, smiling. Aren't you getting too old? Fine rested her head on his chest. Your cheeks look so delicious, she said in sleepy voice, and he chuckled, not able to hide his blush. Pregnancy mood swings are hitting you so hard, he murmured, and she finally opened her eyes. I'm feeling so happy today, very happy. She nodded like a kid and he pinched her cheeks. Cute. Now get up, breakfast quickly. I gotta go. And she looked at him immediately. Where? She asked, being serious. I have some important work. Juan stared at him and he noticed the tension on her face and smiled warmly. Not leaving you alone. I'll be back after work is done. Then we will go back to our house, he said, giving assurance on Ryan's side. I'll be waiting for you, she said, and Jungkook pulled her closer, hugging her. It's really important, otherwise I'd never leave you alone like this, she smiled. I know. Ryan kept glancing at her and sighed as it's been 2 hours since Jungkook left, and she's waiting for him that he should come by now, but he's nowhere to see. Should I bring something to eat, dear? She asked as she looked. No, Ma, I'm not feeling like to eat anything. She replied tiredly, and her mother sighed. I'll bring you fruits to eat. You should eat something in between. You know, right, Vina? She nodded as she's about to. You had a final exam today, right? Vine nodded. It got postponed. She replied, sighing. Why so? She asked, and Vine shook her head. I don't have any idea, Mama. No, he doesn't have this control. She intensely shocked. It got postponed till next week. Her mother nodded. Okay, sit. I'll cut fruit for you. She smiled and nodded. When Mrs. Kim was about to walk, doorbell rings, making her steps halt, and Vine exchanges glance with her mother. Maybe Jungkook, Vine said, and her mother chuckled a bit, shaking her head. I'll check, she said, and Vine nodded. Mrs. Kim opened the door, smiling, and her smile faded as soon as she opened the door and she looked at the figure standing. Sorry, Mrs. John Vine is here? He asked, and mother frowned. Yes, why are you asking? She asked. An officer signaled the lady officer, and her brows straightened when she saw the person. We have to talk to her. Please move aside, he said, and Zara smirked at her. Bunch of officers walked in, followed by her mother, and Zara also walked, looking at the whole house, and she made an ugly face. Vine looked up, and her brows jolted when she sees police officer walking, and she is about to say something, but stopped when she saw Zara walking with a devilish mark plastered on her face. And Vine's brows straightened. Zara, she murmured. Mrs. John Vine? Yes, she said, narrowing her eyes. You have to come with us, he said, making Mrs. John's brows straighten. But why, officer? Why she needs to come with you? He said, walking from behind, and Zara rolled her eyes. She's Mr. John Jungkook's wife, and she has been accused for attempt to murder Mr. John Jungkook. Mrs. Kim's eyes widened, and Vine's brows straightened. Officer, what are you saying? She asked, being shocked. I'm not saying this. We have some evidence against you. Which evidences you are talking about? She's my daughter, not a criminal, he angrily said, and Zara said, your daughter is a gold digger who married Jungkook for his money. He speaks from behind. Who the hell are you? He angrily shouted. I'm the business partner of John Umpires, and after investigation, I have found some suspicious activities in ownerships of John Umpires, he said. I have submitted all proofs. Also, we have a witness as well that there has been suspicious activity done in previous month with the ownership of John's business, he said, and mine couldn't proceed. Also, the car accident which have been done in. It was Swine's car. The brake didn't fail, it was did by someone intentionally, he largely said, and Zara smiled in satisfaction. But I haven't done anything, she yelled up. Why would I do that? She yelled. It's because of ownership and all the property which you been nominees. And the clause says that after his death, his all assets will transfer to you, she said, and Ryan fumed in with him. How can you think that low? He's my husband, she said, and Zara sighed. Actually, Mrs. John, you have to come with us. We have to take you in our custody, he declared. Ma'am, he signaled to the lady officer. We have witnessed the one who has testified against you. Mine looked them unbelievable. Also, somewhere she knows behind all this it's Zara. The lady officer walked to Vine. You can't take her. Her father protested. See, Mr. Kim, let us do our work, officer said. Please, Mrs. John, cooperate with us, she said, extending handcuffs. But don't you dare, he growled, and Vine looked, and her expression instantly changed to relieved ones. Jungkook, she muttered, and Jungkook walked with a hurried step, followed by Taeyang and a person with him. He lowered the handcuffs, glaring at all of them, especially Zara. What are you doing? He asked, gritting teeth. Mr. John, we have evidences. Whatever evidences you have, nothing proves that all accusations you have done, he said, gritting teeth. On basis of evidences which haven't proved yet, how can you excuse my wife? he asked with rage. She is guilty in attempt to murder of you, Jungkook. She speaks and Jungkook gaze shifts to her as the dead glared at her. The car accident was not an accident. I know it wasn't an accident, and I know who is the real culprit, he said. You are no one to tell this, and you are no one to accuse my wife. Not you, even any of you, he said. We have proofs, Mr. John, against Mrs. John that she attempted to get all your assets on her name. We have the prosecutors, he said, and Ryan looked at him shocked. Jungkook, I didn't, she said with desperation. Jungkook stopped. Then Jungkook held her wrist, making her. Shh, you don't need to explain here. I'm here right now, he said, assuring her, and Ryan looked at him with so much emotions. She failed to get the ownership, he lastly said, and Jungkook just smiled fondly. Which assets you are talking about, officer? Which are already on her name? She is the owner of my 75% shares. Ryan's eyes widened. She looked at him shocked. Also Zara and Taeyang smiled. Mr. Jung, he said, extending his hand, and she handed him papers and Jungkook gave to police. Here, the papers. She owns my 75% share, he said, and Ryan couldn't say anything for a while. The rest have been trying to transfer, but it got some issue due to my father's interference, as he is a joint decision holder, he said. But this got approved today, Mr. John. That means the paperwork you have done today, he said, and Jungkook folded arms across his chest. The paperwork has done and was in process before my accident. But the rest all proofs are fake, he said, dead glaring at Sarah. This is absurd. She took advantage of the situation and your memory loss. She definitely manipulated you. She angrily said, exactly, Mr. Ajay. Because of your mental condition, we can't hear you, officer said, and Jungkook closed his eyes. We did investigation. As for that, your house, all cameras were off that day. It's been come to our attention that you two live alone and you stated the visit of your house. It means there's no outsider and you and your wife, he declared. You're right, officer, he said. Their gaze shifted him. It's true they used to live alone, he said as Jungkook's gaze shifts to him. John, he looked at him coldly. Here is petition I have filed 1 month back against my son, he said. Here is the CCTV footage of some proofs. They all looked at him shocked. My son filed complaint against Zara that she attempted to murder my daughter-in-law. I have some proofs which I have already submitted to Commissioner General. Jungkook smiled in satisfaction. My son is right that he transferred his all shares to my daughter-in-law because we had fight about it. I was against it, he said. And lastly, Vine is innocent. She has no knowledge about anything. Also, the car accident, which was planned murder, it was for my daughter-in-law, not for my son. But fortunately or unfortunately, it didn't happen as planned because Zara men attempt to kill her. I have proof. Zara's eyes widened. The one who helped her is Jungkook's secretary. He's in custody. John, what are you saying? He yelled. Lower your tone, man. He shouted back. I knew. Anyhow, you will take your daughter out, but not this time. We have very strong evidence against her. Zara gasped. But Mr. John. Talk to Commissioner General Mr. Kang. He said an officer's phone rang as he attended it. Oh, okay, sir. He nodded on call. Miss Penny, you have to come with us, he said, and Zara shook her head. Dad, she said, panicking. You can't take my daughter. Whatever you have to say, come in court, explained the officer said. He signaled to ladies officer as she nodded before handcuffing Zara. Sorry for the inconvenience, Mr. John, he nodded. But Mrs. John, you have to come with us. We need your statement. He nodded as she looked at John. She doesn't know about anything, officer. What do you want from her? Officer sighed. We need her statement for the incident happened in university. You have to cooperate with us, Mr. Jung. Jungkook sighed. Okay, Mr. Jung, make sure our case should be strong that no one can use their power, he said, glaring at Mr. Min. I don't want her to be out. The charges should be strong. People should know consequences before laying eye on my wife, he said. Don't worry about it, Mr. John, he said, assuring him. I won't leave you all, he said, gritting teeth. Mr. Min, you can't threaten like this, otherwise I have to put you behind the bars as well. And don't forget, if something happens with their family, you will be the first person to be radar, he said, folding some across his chest. We'll see, he mumbled and followed the officer who took Zara. Mr. John, you can give this in the statement as well, for you and your safety purpose in future. Jungkook nodded. Okay, then I'll take my leave. He bowed and walked, and Taehyung sighed. I knew she will go to this extent. Taehyung said, shaking his head as he looked at Wine. Are you okay, Wine? He asked to her, and her gaze shifted to him, and she nodded a little. Yes, Oppa, she said in low voice, and he nodded. Jungkook looked at Wine and sighed as he pulled her in his embrace. I'm sorry. You suffered because of me a lot, he said, and Wine broke the hug. You're not the reason because of my suffering. You're the reason of my happiness in my life. Jungkook smiled a little as he kissed her forehead. How you always make it on time when I'm in problem. Jungkook looked at her briefly. I'm glad I'm always on time, he replied, softly kissing her. How important I have become in your life, Ko, and when? I don't know. I just know that I need you more than anything. I will go to any extent to protect you, he said in Wine's gaze shifted to Mr. John. Thank you, Oppa, she said softly, and Mr. John nodded. I'm sorry, daughter, he said, and walked to him and Jungkook watched her. It's not a fast, effective future. Live like a family. You're going to be grandpa, she said, and Mr. John smiled a little. God bless you, he said, kissing her head. What I have done, I won't say to live with us. Decision is yours, but don't stay upset with us. I want to see and play with my grandchild. Mine smiled. Of course, she said as she looked at Jungkook and he looked away. Mine sighed as she walked to him and held his hands. Jungkook, let's forgive, please, and start everything from start, she said, insisting him. But Ryan, they are your parents' Ko. They always worry about you. Their anger is justified for me, and who will not? When you left them for me, she said, and rolled his eyes. But that doesn't give them right to hide me from you, Ryan. Hide my relationship with you. Ryan hold both of his hands. They haven't that asked me to tell you the truth, but I told him not to. And I forgive them. Please for me. Jungkook looked at her, not able to argue more. What are you up to? Ryan smiled and hugged him. Your wife. Jungkook smiled sighed. The strongest weapon, he said, chuckling a bit. Okay, as you see, he said silently. Thank you, Jungkook. They booked the hug as Jungkook looked at him. And I'm sorry. Jungkook looked at him. Please don't be Appa. Your concern is justified. I would be also if I see my daughter suffering. Ryan looked at him, smiling. Daughter? You want daughter? Jungkook's gaze shifted to her. Yes, a daughter like you, then I will be blessed, he said, smiling and Ryan chuckled. But I want a son like you, she said, giggling. Daughter first, that we can think about son, he said mischievously, and Ryan wide her eyes, gesturing him that his dad and her dad is also here, and Jungkook chuckled. Wait at Appa. What do you guys want as first grandchild? Mr. John and Mr. Kim smiled. Granddaughter. They looked at each other and smiled. Okay, then we can have son right after daughter, Wine closed her eyes while Mr. John chuckled and Mrs. Kim smiled. If you get time after your first child, then you surely can have, Mrs. Kim said, and Wine looked at her surprised and Jungkook chuckled. Baby needs 24/7 take care, so be ready, you both, to change your lifestyle. Jungkook smiled. Sure, I will take care of my both babies, he said, smiling and looking at Wine. Both? You have twins, Wine? You didn't tell me. Wine couldn't look at him and Jungkook looked at him. No, Young first met this baby and the baby inside my baby. My cheeks flushed and everyone smiled and Taeyang made O face. He cleared his throat. Jungkook squished his eyes as he heard babies crying, and he rubbed his eyes before getting up as he looked around and saw Wine sleeping peacefully. And it seemed she's in deep sleep. Jungkook got up as he walked to baby Pram and saw his daughter crying. Jungkook took her in his arms and before rocking her back. Oh, what happened to my baby? What happened, my princess? He said, trying to calm her. And he took her carefully. Are you hungry, my baby? He said in very low voice, and baby still cried more, making him worried as he roamed in room rocking her back. What happened, my baby? Please don't cry, he said, constantly trying to calm down. Jungkook smelled something as he checked her nappy and made a face. That's why you are crying, Appa will change and clean, he murmured as he made her carefully lay on the bed and brought diaper and a new nappy for her. He removed her diaper and cleaned and smiled looking at her as she stopped crying and started sucking her finger. Now my princess is hungry as well, he said, and she made a sound making him chuckle. Okay, Appa will make milk for you. Let's not disturb Amma, okay? She giggled, making him chuckle. You're so cute, my baby. He lifted her in his arms. Baby touched his chest, making him wide his eyes. Sure, I'm not Amma. There's no milk in it, he said, laughing, and she started crying, making him panic. No, baby, Papa wasn't scolding you, he murmured, rocking her back softly. Okay, let's milk for you, he murmured softly. Jungkook giggled when he felt ticklish as she started sucking his shoulder. Oh, my baby is hungry. Let's make milk for you, he said, exciting the room and without making any sound. Make sure he doesn't disturb Swine's sleep. Shirl started crying while sniffing badly as she was preparing milk for her, making him worried, and Jungkook picked her in his arms. It's almost prepared, baby. Appa is here. Please don't cry, he murmured softly. But she still cried more, making Jungkook worried. Please, baby, he roamed in room. Jungkook, what happened? She came, followed by Mr. John. Mom still is crying. I'm preparing milk for her, but she's not stopped crying, he said, looking worried, and Mrs. John smiled. Where's Ryan? She asked. She's sleeping, Mom. Actually, I didn't want to disturb her sleep. She isn't sleeping well, Mrs. John said. Okay, I'll prepare milk for her. Then make her stop crying. Jungkook nodded. Mom, is it okay to give her this milk? He asked with concern. Mrs. John smiled softly. It's okay since she is almost 6 months now, she said, assuring him. Jungkook frowned when he noticed that Seol stopped crying and heard her giggles and looked Mr. John playing with her, making weird face, making him chuckle. Dada's princess, say Dada, she said, and a wide smile appears on Jungkook's face, hearing her giggle. Seol, say Dada, he pronounced, and Jungkook tilted his head to see her. Dada. She pronounced baby voice, making Jungkook's eyes widen. Jungkook, she speaks, and Jungkook looked behind, and looked at Seol, who got excited and she smiled widely, seeing her. You see, Mama? Wine walked as she noted, and Jungkook smiled at Wine, and Seol makes sound making Wine and giggled. Oh, my baby, she said as she took her, and Jungkook smiled as Wine kissed her forehead and played with her. Mama is here. I'm a baby, she said softly, mumble playing more, making Seol to make loud sound as everyone adored her, the mother and daughter bond, and Twine looked at Jungkook. When did she wake up? And why didn't you wake me up? She asked, and Jungkook smiled. I didn't want to disturb you still. That's why I took her with me. Wine smiled. So thoughtful of you. Thank you. Jungkook chuckled. But I guess she's more happy with you than Appa, he said, looking at Seol, and Wine looked. Seol is Mama's princess, she said, playing with her chubby cheeks, and Jungkook smiled. Milk is ready, Jungkook, Mrs. Johnson. Wine, you can give this milk to Seol since she is almost 6 months. It will be easy for you. We can take care of her and when you will be busy. Wine nodded. Seol love Oma more, so you will like when Oma will feed you, right? You love Oma more than Appa, Seol, he said playfully, and Wine. Seol giggled, making Jungkook to squint brows. Now you're laughing at Appa. He pretended to scold her a little, and she giggled more, making everyone laugh. Okay, Appa won't talk to you, since you love Oma more than Appa. He pretended to wipe his fake teeth. But suddenly Seol started crying, making Jungkook panic instantly, and Wine rocked her back, but still didn't stop crying. Appa was choking Seol. Don't cry, my baby, she cried loudly. Give me her wine. Jungkook took her in his arms as he rocked her back, mumbling softly, and she stopped crying, making Wine smile. You're going to raise a drama queen, Jungkook. Jungkook chuckled as he looked at her. My baby, I know you love me. Appa was choking. He mumbled softly, making Seol giggle. She mumbled, making Jungkook's eyes widen as he looked at Wine immediately. She called me Dada Wine. Wine nodded, smiling. Jungkook's eyes filled with tears as he showered her with kisses all over his face, making Mrs. John and Mr. John to chuckle and Wine to watch him closely. How emotional he is that his eyes filled with tears and he's holding them back, and Seol continuously mumbled. Dada loves you the most, princess, he said with a wide smile, and Seol giggled, making them smile. Okay, now give me my granddaughter, I'll feed her. Jungkook nodded as Mrs. John took her to feed her, and Mrs. John took her, followed by Mr. John. Jungkook walked in kitchen while Wine watched him, and Wine smiled as she followed him, and she put hand on his shoulder. Jungkook, she approached him, and she tilted her face to see him, but Jungkook hugged her and sobbed badly, making Wine to close her eyes as she kissed his back. So happy, Ryan. I'm really happy today, he said while sniffing badly, and Ryan smiled as tears started to fill her eyes too. I'm the luckiest man in this world, he mumbled, and Ryan broke the hug, and she wiped his tears, who is crying like a baby. We're also lucky to have you in our life, she mumbled softly, and Jungkook smiled. Thank you so much for giving me this happiness. I love you the most. Ryan smiled, and Jungkook kissed her forehead. Wine felt his lips trembling, and she realized she was one life. Jungkook kissed her eyes and pulled her in his embrace and pecked the side of her head. Thank you for fulfilling every dream of mine. I don't know how to thank you. I'm grateful to have you in my life. You both are the charm of my life. He mumbled, and Wine smiling, she broke the heart. Not you alone. You are the light of our life, understand? I'm glad you chose me that day, otherwise I would have lost David, she said, and Jungkook chuckled. Thank you for giving me a chance, he said, and Wine took his hand before kissing it softly. I love you. Jungkook, I love you more. You are the strongest woman I know. I know how much pain you had to bear throughout this period. Still bear everything with a smile. For our princess, for me, you have been so strong. And I salute you. You are my strong woman. Once man, thank you for acknowledging, she said, and Jungkook took her hand and touched to his head. But I'm not ready to see you in that pain again. It was tough for you than me. We will raise a daughter. Ryan squint. What about your two babies plan? Jungkook shook his head. I didn't know that time you have to suffer from this pain, much pain. One is enough for me. I'll try to be a best father for our princess, he said, looking at Seol, who's playing with her grandparents. You're already a best father, she said, and Jungkook looked at her. Being father of a daughter means you are blessed, and I'm blessed to have her. She's my little princess, he said, admiring her. That's fine, but don't spoil her with your love, okay? Jungkook chuckled. I'll try not to. Ryan rested her head on Jungkook's shoulder, admiring Seol. She's carbon copy of you. See, it's 3 in night, but she has a lot of energy to play. Jungkook chuckled. What do you mean by that? Ryan looked at him. I mean, she's active like you, not lazy like me. Don't think way too much. Jungkook controlled his smile. And face features like you, beautiful. Ryan shook her head. She resembles you most. She has sharp facial features. Jungkook shook his head. She's pretty like you. Her eyes is copy of yours. Ryan smiled, shaking her head. Actually, we want to see her the person we love the most. Jungkook circled arms around her. Exactly. I want her facial features to be on you. But one thing should not go on you. Ryan front. What? Jungkook pressed his lips together. Her brain. I want her brain like me. Ryan's mouth hung open. And she tried to hit him, but he dodged. If you just call me brainless, Jungkook, she angrily said, and Jungkook constantly moved back. No, love, I didn't say that. I just want her to be good in studies, he said, making her mouth hung open, and Vines took something in her hands to hit him, and Jungkook ran. Come here, Jungkook, she said, following him, and they ran in whole house. See, daughter, this is your parents. They still fight like kids, he said, laughing, and Mrs. Jones smiled, looking at him. Jungkook, stop. If you didn't stop, I won't let you touch me. Jungkook steps halted. You can't use your weapons like this when I don't have one, he said, folding palms across his chest, and Vine walked to him. I can. Now go. I don't want to talk to you. I will have my son one day, and he will be like me in brain as well. It should work for other than studies, she said, slicking her hair, and she's about to walk, but Jungkook pulled her back, pinning her against a pillar. For that as well, you need me now, love, he said in a husky voice. He leaned in, making her eyes widen. Jungkook, what are you doing? Mom, Dad is here, she whispered, and Jungkook tilted his head. They can't see us, he whispered. Saying this, he pressed his lips on hers, kissed her softly, and pulled her closer. Vine also kissed him back, and Jungkook swam in between. She still can't match his face. Mr. John covered Seol's eyes. Your dada thing. We can't see them. But he forgot there is a mirror behind him, and she lifted her in half. Let them do their work, we will play. Your appa is planning for a sibling for you. Mr. John hit him slightly. She's just a kid. What are you saying? She whispered, and Mr. John chuckled. Okay, let's play together, Seol. I have a lot of toys for you in my room. As they walked, Mr. John followed him. Ryan tapped his shoulder as she is out of it, and Jungkook broke the. And he smiled, seeing her face, and turned red. She breathed heavily. Do you want to kill me? She said, taking a long breath. And Jungkook chuckled. No, baby, I just got overexcited because it's been a long time. Sorry. Don't try to make up like that. I still remember what you called me just now. Jungkook chuckled. Sorry. You are beauty with grey, he said, and she gave him a look. Seol, where is Seol? She asked, looking. Mom, Dad took her with them. Why inside? What if they might? She stopped as she saw the mirror and widened her eyes. They saw us. But you did, Jungkook. Jungkook looked at the mirror and scratched his back. If they did, nothing you can do. You just embarrassed me. What embarrassed, huh? You're my wife. I can kiss you wherever I want. Fine, glanced at him. Is that so? Jungkook nodded and Ryan folded his arms across his chest. From now on, you will take my permission to kiss me. Am I clear to you, Mr. Jones? Jungkook's eyes widened. Wait, what? Why? That's rule. You have to hear me. Jungkook sighed as he followed her and picked her in his arms, making her gasp. Okay, wifey. It's just a kiss. You won't danny me, of course, will you? Mine shook her head, smiling, looking at his puppy face. You are too much. Jungkook patted her forehead. I know. Okay, put me down. I can walk. Jungkook shook his head. My wife needs care as well. So today I'll take care of her. Since Seol is not here for a while, I'll give you a body massage. Ryan's eyes wide. Oh, hello. Excuse me, I don't need it. Jungkook giggled as he placed her on bed and locked the room. Too late. I don't worry. I'll just give a body massage only. Teasingly and Ryan chuckled. Let's see if I'll let you do that or not. Jungkook giggled as he hovered over her. It will relieve you a lot. Ryan smiled. Okay, she said, but suddenly they heard Seol's crying voice, which made Ryan burst into laughter.